that I went ahead this week and sent around a life insurance policy of sorts, a package rather, to people that I trust, a package filled with text messages, emails, private communications, videos, and private legal documents. So if anything happens to me, you guys will know exactly who it is that has been making my life a living hell.
Candace Owens put out this video just a few days ago where she's expressing her concern seemingly for her life and sending information out to as many as possible just in case something were to happen to her. Now, we're going to talk about that today. Now, for those of you that know, after the passing of Charlie Kirk, this woman has been speaking and has been saying a whole lot of things. Some things good, some things questionable, some things I won't even touch here. But I will say she's trying to investigate what happened because there are a number of reasons why. The official narrative makes no sense. Anyone with some decency and common sense and a little bit of critical thinking will say, it doesn't add up, right? One man, a shooter, screwdriver, and a funny note behind, undo the gun. We never saw the guns in the pants when he came down from the building. You can ask thousands of questions. A poll was taken. Over 88% of Americans do not believe in the official narrative. So that says a lot. This opens the door for Candace Owens to do her own investigation. This was her friend. She's feeling some type of way. There are a number of things she's saying. But at the same time is where this thing is going. And again, keep in mind, biblically now, what does the Bible say about stuff like that in a way that we ought to speak and think about them? And secondly, what about investigations in words and how they ought to be carried out? There's something to love about Candace Owens. She's asking questions that a lot of people do not ask, even the FBI. Okay. I think she's doing a much better job than they are. Yes, it is messy. Yes, there are things in there that I'm like, I can't support that one. I don't see the facts and the evidence. But at least she's asking questions. She has the right to do so. But at the same time, we do have to ask the question, how far does she plan to go with this? Could some of these allegations that she's making turn against her in a very negative way? What about the legacy of Charlie Kirk and his family and the Turning Point USA? Because not only she is pulling receipts, she's naming people, but she may be saying and doing a little too much when it comes to this. And I'm in no way saying she doesn't have the right to do it. I'm simply saying is it can be a little too much to the point that it goes off the rail. You will see what I mean. Now, with that in mind, here is the first video, and I'm going to share a few thoughts and comments as we go. In this video she put out, it seems like she's afraid for her life, and she is trying to let the world know if something were to happen to me, there's at least 8 different people that I've given information to that needs to just make it public and expose whoever it is that she wants to expose. I want you to hear that.
I went ahead this week and sent around a life insurance policy of sorts, a package rather, to people that I trust, a package filled with text messages, emails, private communications, videos, and private legal documents. So if anything happens to me, you guys will know exactly who it is that has been making my life a living hell over the past couple of years. People that are trying to bankrupt me, trying to bankrupt me and my family, that are threatening us to sue us. Everything that Kanye said was so real. Okay. I'm now at that point where you look back and you go, man, Kanye was right. He was really saying something about what it takes to leave, to fight for custody of your own soul. Just leave me alone. Let me say what I believe and you say what you believe. Fight fair. Why do you always have to make this threat to bankrupt people? And I want you to know that those people, if anything happens to me, they have my explicit permission to release it all, detonate it all, expose all of these people in politics and in the movement who behave like this behind the scenes. It's necessary. And I highly recommend every single person that is out there, that has a platform and is going through things and is scared, do the same. Send everything around to about 8 people that you trust. And I mean, I've ranged it. I sent it to journalists, text messages and screenshots to people ranging from Max Blumenthal to Andrew Tate. They won't know where it's coming from.
Okay. So we have that. And again, we're going to read a few thoughts and comments eventually as well. One of the things that she does allude to, although she doesn't say specifically, she does point the finger at Israel. She doesn't say Israel did this to Charlie Kirk. She points to Benjamin Netanyahu. There's discussion about Mossad. Listen, to be honest with you, I don't know. All I know is this is what they told us. I ask questions too, and I do not believe the official narrative. And I'm kind of careful how deep I get into this. There's too much stuff out there concerning this information. And I knew this from day one. There's going to be a lot of information out there that's going to try to confuse people. This much I know, he passed away, and it was a terrible and tragic death, right? And there's things we can do as Christians to assist the world and to share the gospel in the midst of all of this chaos. That's what my position is. I don't have a dog in this fight. But the thing is, she's asking some serious questions, and she is pointing finger. Now, she's pointing fingers particularly at Israel, although she doesn't say they're the ones who did it. And people are beginning to kind of look at her and say, you know what exactly are you trying to say? Now, recently she did a video where she brought some receipts.
So Charlie writes in this group chat, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Somebody writes, ugh. Charlie writes, Jewish donors play into all of the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. And somebody writes, a donor writes, please do not invite Candace. That might feel good short term, but it's not good long term. In my opinion, like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed on us makes life frustrating at times after the dust settles a bit, maybe. So again, this is 48 hours before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. He was very clear and he was very explicit, and he did not back down, not in that Hamptons meeting, which they're all lying about, nor in this text thread. I'm not going to reveal the names of the other 7. Actually, you know what? I disagree with myself 4 seconds ago. Let's just throw in Josh Hammer for funsies. He's on this chat, okay?
Okay, so you hear that. You've seen that. Names are being called. She's just certainly pointing the finger. And I'm in no way saying she doesn't have the right to ask questions on this situation. But I think the fact she is kind of saying who might be guilty, although she's not definitely saying who is guilty, that is where you kind of have to be careful with this. Now, before we listen to what Turning Point USA has to say, I want you to hear what Charlie Kirk had to say about Israel. He did have his concerns as well. But to make the connection for certain, beyond a shadow of a doubt, what happened to Charlie Kirk is the result of some of the issues that were going on there. You just got to bring solid evidence for that. And my concern is I'm not seeing solid evidence to support her claims. Listen.
Fact is now Bibi and the Israeli hard-right government has
Listen to this video also.
right? But if I have any deviation of a purity test, any deviation whatsoever, such as hosting a focus group, right, Megan, with a bunch of our students that went viral, having Dave Smith or Tucker at my event, it is all of a sudden, oh, Charlie is he's no longer with us and all that. I said, wait a second, what do you mean? What does with us mean exactly, right? I'm an American, okay? Like, I represent this country, and I don't even understand that paradigm. But Megan, I think you would agree with this. I want to make sure we really zero in on this. Personality types like you, myself, and Tucker, the more that you guys privately and publicly call our character into question, which is not isolated, right? Megan, it would be one thing if
That's
it was
right.
one text or two texts. It is dozens of texts.
Yes.
Then we start to say, hold the boat here. And to be fair, some of my really good Jewish friends are like, that's not all of us, it's all, but these are leaders too, though, right? These are stakeholders, right? And so, look, I'm afraid because, again, I want civil.
Now, I'm not sure how many of you are paying attention to, the politics when it comes to Israel and everything like that. I understand where Charlie Kirk is coming from. There's some very dark stuff going on when it comes to that, okay? When it comes to AIPAC and everything, just in case you don't know how serious it is. Now, listen to Matt Gaetz explaining what it's like to go to an AIPAC meeting. Listen carefully.
Initially, I resented the fact that there was no appreciation for nuance. Like if you asked any questions about any decision of the Israeli government in any place regarding settlements, regarding Gaza, whatever, you were like, you had deviated from the script. And I just, in any policy area, I had resentment over that. And then I saw the way the AIPAC worked, and that was weird for like a country lawyer like me. I remember my first AIPAC reception, and like your fundraiser tells you have to go, and your chief of staff tells you have to go, your committee chairman all tell you have to go, and you get there and you wear this name badge, and I remember there's a QR code on it, and what we were supposed to do was go talk to donors, and then if they liked you, they scanned your QR code to make a donation, like on the spot. And so can you just imagine how demoralizing that is to like be told that your job for the next several hours to go chat people up, hoping they would scan you like a can of tomato soup on the way out of the meeting.
I mean, it's literally purchasing.
Right. And so I saw that and I was like, wow, that is so freaking weird. And then, I was in Israel. I went multiple times, and I did not like the fact that I found someone in my room rooting around in my stuff that should not have been there at the King David Hotel when I came back to my room when no one was expecting me to be back in my room. And I just
presumably Israeli law enforcement.
Well, I don't know who it was. I just thought, like, this is weird. All of these things combined are odd, and then the policy outgrowth seems to be an obsession about the Middle East that has not served my generation well. I just don't. Initially, I resented the fact that there was no appreciation for nuance. Like if you asked any questions about any decision of the Israeli government in any place regarding settlements, regarding Gaza, whatever, you were like, you had deviated from the script. And I just, in any policy area, I had resentment over that. And then I saw the way the AIPAC worked, and that was weird for like a country lawyer like me. I remember my first AIPAC reception, and like your fundraiser tells you have to go, and your chief of staff tells you have to go, your committee chairman all tell you have to go, and you get there and you wear this name badge, and I remember there's a QR code on it, and what we were supposed to do was go talk to donors, and then if they liked you, they scanned your QR code to make a donation, like on the spot. And so can you just imagine how demoralizing that is to like be told that your job for the next several hours to go chat people up, hoping they would scan you like a can of tomato soup on the way out of the meeting.
I mean, it's literally purchasing.
Right. And so I saw that and I was like, wow, that is so freaking weird. And then, I was in Israel. I went multiple times, and I did not like the fact that I found someone in my room rooting around in my stuff that should not have been there at the King David Hotel when I came back to my room when no one was expecting me to be back in my room. And I just
presumably Israeli law enforcement.
Well, I don't know who it was. I just thought, like, this is weird. All of these things combined are odd, and then the policy outgrowth seems to be an obsession about the Middle East that has not served my generation well. I just don't.
Now, Turning Point USA has responded to Candace Owens' letter, and they confirmed it to be true.
But I want to take the start of this show to address some of the things that have been going around on public, namely about a group text chain that has been made known and released by Candace Owens. And I just want to address it head on because, that was a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. And I want to go into it because I actually am really excited that the truth is out there. I first want to say the reason I didn't share that screen grab publicly is because it was a private was a private exchange, and I felt like it didn't necessarily comport with things that were already public. I wanted to not betray my friend's trust in that way. But I did share it with some people in government because it happened really quick. It was, it took 33 hours for authorities to get their suspect. And in those first moments, we wanted no stone unturned. We wanted to leave nothing unturned. So I shared it with a few people. Don't know where it went from there, apparently. But here we are. So one of the reasons, Blake, that I'm glad to have this now public, it was not mine to share publicly, but one of the criticisms we've received is that we don't care, we're not investigating every lead, we're not looking under every stone, and that somehow we're just sweeping things under the rug. And when I say that we want justice for Charlie more than anybody else, I really mean it, and no stone unturned. I mean, I don't know if you want to chime in on that part alone, but I have more to say.
Yeah, it has been so frustrating to have people blow up about this.
Yeah.
And I've certainly stated publicly, the reason I haven't weighed in on things is I am an eyewitness to events, and they've said, don't comment on things because anything you say can mess that up. I don't want to mess up any trial for the person who did this.
There are some people today, Dana, who unfortunately have at best forgotten that, at worst have chosen to forget it. Charlie Kirk never did. He literally kept his version of the Sabbath. He turned his phone off when Orthodox Jews like myself turn our phone off from Friday night to Saturday night. He has a whole forthcoming book on the Sabbath. Nonetheless, there are some people out there, I named Candace Owens because she's the ringleader here, Charlie Kirk's one-time colleague on these campus tours, who is now just basically spitting on his memory, desecrating his memory, just ghoulish behavior, trying to say that there was a pro-Israel intervention from Bill Ackman, who, yes, was there, our mutual friend Seth Dillon of Babylon Bee, who, yes, was there. My name's been dragged up a little bit as well. I was there the whole time. This was a small, they called it an influencers retreat. It was invite only. Charlie texted me in July to invite me. 35 people, give or take. By the way, not everyone on the same page on the Israel issue or on any issue. It was a very lively conversation, which is kind of Charlie's MO. He likes to have these big conversations. Literally, when he was killed, he was under a tent that said, prove me wrong. That's his whole thing. He likes to have open debate there. But there was no intervention. I don't know how many times just to say this there. Like this notion that Bill Ackman, Seth Dillon, and me, myself, pinned Charlie and said, oh, you gotta go to Israel, you gotta take the shekels, you gotta get back in line there. It's total garbage. It literally did not happen. I have no idea where Candace is getting this information. I have a couple of guesses as to who is leaking her some information, which is probably just making it up on top of that. What I can tell you, Dana, is the following, which is that this is a lie. It is a brazen, self-serving lie to try to posthumously convert Charlie Kirk to full-on Nick Fuentes Groyperism. It is a cynical attempt to retcon and historically revise his legacy to pretend that he was something other than the pro-Hebrew Bible Christian, than the champion of the Judeo-Christian biblical lines that he was. It is a desecration of his memory, and I will not stand for it.
All right, here's my honest opinion about some of this stuff. Candace Owens has every right to ask questions and investigate. And I will say she's doing a much better job, and it's actually uncovering things that FBI and other investigators have stopped looking into. So I will say for that alone, she deserves a lot of respect for that, because she's doing a work that I think our federal government should do. And we have to respect that because of so many lies we've been told over the years. When was ever the official narrative the truth? That day has never been. So when we know that, we can understand why she's doing this. But at the same time, being a friend of Charlie Kirk, there's a lot of grieving going on. She's mourning. And during a phase of mourning, you have to be careful with your emotions. You have to be careful how you respond and how you react. Now, as a mother of 4 children, my question is this the work that the Lord has called her to do? That's one question. And the other question is, part of the backlash that she's receiving is because there are things being said that are highly questionable in her investigation. There are some claims being made, and there's not enough evidence to back them up. And if I were Candace Owens' husband, I would say, honey, calm down. Let's pray. Let's think about this. Let's not keep digging unless we create a monster out of this mess. That's what I would do as a husband. But now, to my sister Candace Owens, I don't know if she will ever see this video. Be careful. How far you dig, lest you bring trouble to yourself and to your family. Unnecessary pain and suffering. Be careful with that. Number 2, if you're going to speak, you're going to ask questions, it's fair, it's good to do it. But at least be very skeptical of who you blame and condemn, unless you have solid evidence and receipt to back it up. 3, I will say it might be best to leave this subject matter alone. Focus on your family, your YouTube channel, your podcast, and the things that matters most. I'm afraid that this might not end well if we continue down this road. This might turn out to be something even bad. There can be some serious retaliation that will come against her. We don't wish that on anybody. These are my thoughts and perspective. I want to hear from you. Like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon for more. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one. Bye.